So if you're on testosterone treatment, you might be wondering, can I make mistakes? We're going to discuss the 5 mistakes, top or worst mistakes people make when using TRT. And let me tell you, you don't want to be a statistic. So grab a cuppa and let's get started. So the first mistake is not getting a proper diagnosis. So some will liken this to having your car repaired without knowing what's wrong with it. So it's important to have your testosterone levels checked by a doctor to make sure they're actually low before you start. You have to get those levels checked. And also when you're on TRT treatment, it's important to make sure your levels are getting checked on a regular basis to make sure that the doctor can adjust where you are. The second mistake is not monitoring your testosterone levels properly. When we say monitor your testosterone properly, you need to know where you're going. It's like a ship traveling without a compass. In order to make the treatment work, we need to know where you are and where you're going, and it's important to create those right kinds of balances. So you need to have your levels checked on a regular basis to make sure they're in the healthy range, that they're not going too high, not going too low. So number 2 is more like number 1, knowing where you are to start and then knowing where you're going by having your levels checked regularly. Otherwise, you're like some kite in a hurricane, just flapping around, not knowing where you are. All right, mistake number 3. Now this is the third mistake. It has to do with patience. And I'm not talking about you if you're a patient on TRT. I'm talking about having patience around waiting for TRT to do the work. TRT is not a magic wand. And we've said this before. It's not going to fix all your problems overnight. Testosterone isn't this magical elixir. Yes, it can help you if you've got a problem, but you have to remember you've got to plant the seed and watch it grow, right? If you're tending to a rose garden, you've got to give it time and you've got to nurture it and you've got to be aware, just like testosterone. So again, you can't be disheartened if you're not getting results straight away. We have to look at, and a good provider like Balance for Hormones could help you navigate through this to know, what other medications are you on that may be affecting the wow result of you being on TRT? What other issues are going on in your life? What kind of stresses do you have? All these are very important in order for you to have the right outcome. But again, remember, it's not going to happen overnight. As excited as we are talking about all the benefits of TRT, it takes time. And there are some lucky men among us or women that do HRT and TRT together that do get a really good response very quickly. But many of us, it can take many years. I can tell you myself, when I was on TRT treatment in my 20s, it's different to being on TRT treatment in my should I really tell you what my age is? in my middle to late 40s, I've said it before. Now, in my TRT career, as I'd say, I am steady and stable. And in the earlier years, for the most part, I just got on with it. And much of what we worry and fear is things that we've heard from other people, things that we've read on forums, information that we've received elsewhere that may make you scratch your head and say, well, I'm not feeling all the benefits of TRT. Maybe it's not working for me. But we're all different and it's not going to work the same for everyone. So remember, Rome wasn't built in a day. Neither are those on TRT going to get the improvements that you're expecting overnight. But stay the course. Things change over time. And TRT, I can say personally, has benefited me greatly over the years. And it wasn't always smooth sailing, but at the end of the day, I'm very happy. And I've had essentially nearly a lifetime worth of TRT, going on 27 years. The fourth mistake is using the wrong type of testosterone or the treatment protocol. So some may liken this to trying to fit a round peg in a square hole, but really there isn't a perfect protocol. And I've always said the perfect protocol is a protocol that works best for that individual. So whether you're on testosterone injections, or scrotally applied testosterone creams, and some of you may use gels. Some may even have pellets. Those are more popular in the United States. The right fit has to be the fit that's going to work for you. It has to fit in with your daily routine. It has to fit in with what you're comfortable doing. If you're not comfortable with needles or doing injections, then there are options like the topical testosterone scrotally applied creams. There may be other ways of doing an injection that might not be so intimidating. So there may be different frequencies of dosage that should be considered that may work better with your own biochemistry. So, don't make the mistake of just chomping and changing all the time your treatment either, because again, going back to the previous mistake, you have to give it time but it's good to explore what your needs are in the beginning, what's going to be right for you in the beginning, and then if there are changes that need to be made, those changes can be made, and with a provider like Balance for Hormones, our doctors want to work with you and help you get the most out of your treatment. So it's important to be aware of that. But again, just always rely on the doctor that is treating you, and every case is different. There's not a one size fits all. So the fifth and final mistake is really not talking to your doctor about other options. And this goes back to the TRT being a magic wand, and that TRT may not be or isn't always the be all and end all. Just because I don't know, the TRT worked for your mate doesn't mean it's going to work for you. You may have a set of circumstances that are completely different. You may have other comorbidities, other issues that are going on that need to be sorted first. You may even have transient low testosterone that with proper sleep, diet, exercise, stress reduction may help you bring your natural levels back up. And we know of cases where this can happen, and it really should be explored first. But if that doesn't work, obviously there's TRT, and it's important that you have an open and honest conversation with the doctor treating you about all the options. It may not be the testosterone that's low. There may be lifestyle changes, but there may be other medications or treatments that may be an option. Otherwise, essentially, you're just kind of shooting in the dark and hoping for the best if you don't get that expertise. So anyway, there you have it. Those are the kind of the top 5 worst mistakes that you can have when you start TRT. Just remember there are options. You can always rely on your doctor's guidance, and just focus on your health. So actually there's one more mistake, and that mistake would be not to subscribe to the channel. So don't forget to like and subscribe, and leave comments. Let me know if there are certain mistakes that you've made about your time on TRT, things that you'd like to add, and let the rest of the TRT community know about.